Hello, this is Trish Garner with the League of Women Voters of Portland, and you are watching the Video Voters Guide or listening to our podcast. We're here today to talk with candidates running in the November 2024 general election. We're grateful for the support of the Carol and Velma Sailing Foundation, the League of Women Voters of Portland Education Fund, the Weiss Foundation, and our media partner, Metro East Community Media. With me is Samir Kanal, who is running for City Council District 2, and that generally covers North and Northeast Portland. Welcome, Samir. Please tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're running for this office.
Thanks for having me. My name is Samir Kanal. I am running for City Council in North and Northeast Portland, District 2. I was born in Portland, actually born in this district in the Overlook neighborhood. I left for a few years, went to Seattle, Dallas, and New York. I did labor organizing with AFT, human rights advocacy at the United Nations, and organizing around racial justice. And I brought that experience back with me when I came home to Portland. My first government job was as the project manager of the Police Accountability Commission. And doing community engagement at the city, I've learned that Portlanders know what we want, we tell our government, and too often that's the end of the story when it should be the beginning of one, a story of co-creation of policy between community and government. Because government shouldn't be something different from you and me, it should be a collective manifestation of what we all want. And that's why my policy platform reflects Portlanders' priorities: community safety for all, infrastructure for all, and housing for all, which includes housing affordability as well as homelessness, ending homelessness. And the thing that I hear the most, though, is that I don't feel heard. And that's a problem that we can fix because you deserve to be heard by your government. And I'm running for city council to put the power back in the hands of the people.
Okay, another question. What are your ideas for working productively with other council members from your district?
Yeah, I think trying to achieve consensus while holding true to shared values is the most important thing we can do across the entire council. Again, I was the Police Accountability Commission's project manager, and I am proud that it ended on time and on budget. But the thing I'm most proud of is that it ended unanimously. And that's the approach and the skills that we need to take to the city council. I'm a clear communicator with values that I hold strongly to, but I'm very flexible on talking about methods, and I'll be open with my colleagues about what I believe in, so there won't be any surprises on the day that a vote happens. And I think that's the most important part for the council as a whole. Within the district, we need to be doing town halls together, from Cully to St. John's to Lloyd Center, and of course, Albina. I think the model that I would use is the Alberta Abbey event that our state representatives recently held, and then share an office so we can communicate collaboratively. I hope that there's a shared council office in Albina. Thanks.
What, if any, actions would you consider taking to address the current concerns related to the critical energy infrastructure hub on the Willamette River?
Yeah, climate change is real. It's an existential threat, and we need leaders on city council who are going to meet that challenge with the urgency that it deserves. I don't think we should be storing dangerous chemicals or transporting them through the city of Portland. And I think that what we can look at as a starting point is the 5 points that Tank the Tanks, just part of in Linton, talking about what we can do there. The 5 points they proposed are things I support. Most immediately, we need to look at the air quality permit, which will come from Zenith in early 2025. And then we also need to make sure that people are paying for the risk that they create. Companies are paying for the risk that they create to our lives, our well-being, and our climate.
You're listening to the Video Voters Guide interview and podcast of Samir Kanal, who's running for District 2 City Council. So are you satisfied with the performance of the Joint Office of Homeless Services?
No.
If not, what changes would you support? Please explain.
Yeah, I think the first thing I'd support is ensuring that they pay that they use the money that the city pays into the process. So there was a few $1 million that were unused. That's unacceptable when there's a crisis on our streets. Making sure that we're focusing on the most immediate projects to have shelters across a range of options, building them quickly, including on city-owned land. The city owns a lot of land. That'd be a priority for me. The other thing is ensuring that the community advisory process does not merely include community members who are wealthy, but also includes people who are, served by the joint office, including houseless folks themselves.
What skills, experience, and interests distinguish you from the other candidates for this position?
Yeah, with an all-new city council, we need people who know how the city works but aren't creatures of its culture. Having worked on a high-profile issue during controversial times and successfully gotten a commission to work together and eventually make their approvals of all their recommendations unanimously, I have the experience to do the work within city government that we're going to need out of the new council. Um, my title now is Inclusive Policy Manager. My job is to connect community engagement to policy. That's what we need out of new city council members, is to take community voice and make policy out of it. I'll also mention that I've been a renter my entire adult life. I've also experienced a lot of the struggles that folks have around affordability in Portland, and that's an experience that I'll bring with me to the city council.
Which, if any, strategy is described in the draft 2024 Portland Housing Production Strategy would you support, or which could you support?
I support a lot of the things in the housing production strategy, including age and disability friendly housing, building sustainably, and promoting affordability around the city. I think we also need to go beyond the housing production strategy and pursue social housing and also policy that will ensure that new housing development is built near to existing transit, that transit is built to where we're building housing, and finally to have policy that ensures that housing that we build remains in the market.
On what council committees would you like to serve?
I'd like to serve on the Public Safety Committee. I think bringing a holistic preventative vision of public safety to that work is really important, while we also solve our critical immediate needs, such as protecting and expanding Portland's street response, as well as ensuring we have enough dispatchers at 911 to bring down our response times. If I can serve on a second, I'd like to serve on the one overseeing parks. I'm a member of the Parks Board. I want to support recreation, as well as connecting parks into our public safety apparatuses.
We don't have a lot of time, but which Police Accountability Commission recommended features of the new accountability system currently under development would you support?
Yeah, I was the project manager for the Police Accountability Commission, and I worked alongside them every day. There will not be a stronger advocate for the voters with ballot measure 26217 or the Police Accountability Commission's recommendations that I will be. We need a system that is fair, that is independent, that is effective. We need a system where you don't have internal affairs investigating community complaints about police officers, where a Black Lives Matter post on social media can't disqualify you from service, and where we're not overburdening the volunteers so that volunteers burn out and it can't be effective. Having worked on this issue for 2 years in the city, as well as being involved in the conversations afterwards outside of the city, this is an area I am prepared to lead on day one. And we need to make sure that we're reflecting the will of the voters. Whenever a ballot measure passes, that is the most important thing, is to reflect what you believe in and what we all voted for. And that's something I'll bring to this issue, as well as all the other ballot measures that have passed in the last few years. Thanks for the question. And also shout out to the League of Women Voters, who's worked really hard on this issue, in particular, Debbie Iona and the entire committee.
Thank you, Samir. This concludes our video voters guide and podcast interview of the League of Women Voters of Portland of Samir Kanal, running for District 2 City Council. That covers North and Northeast Portland. Election day is Tuesday, November 5. Be sure to inform yourself about the candidates and exercise your right to vote. Thank you for your interest.